Hello everyone, welcome back to another English online session. I hope you all fine. Today I am going to explain you or narrate you the last chapter in the text The Moments, The Beggar, and it was written by Anton Chekhov. The Beggar by Anton Chekhov is a story of a poor drunkard beggar named Lashkov who, due to his drinking, is no longer able to work and resort to begging in order to survive. He also begins to lie, hoping to gain others' sympathy. Sergei, an advocate, provides work for Lashkov to change him. Actually, it is his cook, Olga, who is responsible for the positive change in him. So, this is the story. And now let me tell you some details about the writer. Anton Pavlov Chekhov was a Russian writer. He is a playwright and short story writer. Chekhov shared a strained relationship with his abusive father, and this influenced his writing. After his father went bankrupt, Chekhov had to pay for his own education by selling his family's possessions, tutoring and selling short sketches to newspapers. After enrolling in a medical school, he became the sole financial support for his family. After he became a physician, he continued writing and eventually started gaining popularity. Chekhov's works have established him as one of the most famous figures in literature. Hailed for his contribution to the form of the modern short story, he also wrote plays, many of which continue to be staged all over the world. His simple style of writing, his probing of human nature, and his refusal to provide easy solutions continue to make his work relevant even today. Actually, Anton Pavlov Chekhov was a very famous short story writer, well read writer, and he became very famous among the short story writers even today in this 21st century. Also, he got his own importance. Now let me explain you this lesson. A man was begging alms. Alms means money. Okay, he was begging for money. He said that he had not eaten anything for the last 3 days. He did not even have 5 kopecks to pay for a room to spend the night at. Kopecks means the denomination, the amount, money, like rupee. He swore by God that he spoke the truth. He had been a school teacher in a village for 8 years but lost that job due to the conspiracy of his colleagues. For the last 1 year he was without work. An advocate named Sergei looked at the light brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar had dull, drunken eyes. There were red spots on both his cheeks. Sergei felt that he had seen the man before. The beggar continued that he had got an offer of a job in the state of Kaluga in Russia. He did not have enough money to travel to the place. He wanted help through. He just felt ashamed asking for it, but his circumstances forced him to do so. Here in this story, there are two main characters. Initially, a beggar was introduced in the story, and his name was Lashkov. He was asking for money. He was just telling that he didn't have money to even spend a night somewhere, stay somewhere, and he lost his job. He was just telling that he lost his job because of some conspiracy, some sort of conspiracy from the side of his colleagues, and he lost his job. He just served as a teacher nearly 8 years in a village. Now he was just got a chance in a nearby place called Kaluga in Russia. He did not have enough money to travel to the place. He wanted help, though he felt ashamed. So he felt very ashamed that he was begging for money even to reach that particular place, but his circumstances forcing him to beg money. He was telling or giving such explanation while begging money from others. Sergei saw the man's shoe. Both of them had a varying heel size. He remembered something. He said that the day before, the previous day, he had seen the same beggar at Sadovia Street. Then the beggar had said that he was a student who had been removed from the institution and not that he was a school teacher. He asked the beggar if he remembered it. The beggar was shocked and spoke softly that that was not possible. He reasserted that he was a school teacher and could show his documents as proof. Sergei said that he had lied enough. He added that the beggar had told him that he was a student and had even told the reason for getting expelled from his institution. Sergei was full of anger and turned away from the beggar. He screamed that the beggar was dishonest, he was a cheat, and Sergei would hand him over to the police. So now, after looking at his shoes, something reminded Sergei about an incident happened the previous day. He met the same person, and by the time that person told him that he was a student and expelled from the school, when he was asking for help, he introduced himself as a student. And now the same man is telling as he was a teacher and begging money for. So Sergei got very angry, and he immediately decided to hand him over to the police because he lied. He said lied to beg money from others. The beggar confessed that he was lying. He was neither a teacher nor a student. He had been a singer in a Russian group and was removed due to his drinking problem. He lied because people would not give him alms if he told them the truth. Sergei screamed at him and said that he could work instead of lying. The beggar said that he knew he should work, but there was no work for him. Sergei asked if he would chop wood for him. The beggar wanted to chop wood but said that even skilled woodcutters were out of work, so who would employ him for it? Sergei offered him work. The beggar replied that he would chop wood for him. So now he completely admitted that he was not a student and a teacher, and he was a singer in a Russian group, and he was removed because too much drinking. He lied because people won't give him money if he tell them the truth. And this good man Sergei asked him whether he can chop wood. To this, Lashkov said that even a skillful woodcutter was not getting enough job nowadays. So Sergei said that he can work for Sergei. Sergei was offering him some job because of his condition. Sergei want this man to change. Sergei said that his willingness to work would be judged soon. He walked off, rubbing his hands, and called the cook from the kitchen. He asked Olga to take the man to the woodshed and let him chop wood. The beggar resembled a scarecrow. His reluctance to go to the shed was signified by his act of shrugging his shoulders. He followed the cook hesitantly. He was hesitant because he was hungry and although he wanted to work. He did not feel energetic enough to do it. As he had promised Sergei, he had to work. He did not feel strong enough because he was under the influence of the alcohol and was not fit to do laborious work. Sergei went into dining room to look outside the window. He could see the woodshed and the yard. He saw the cook and the beggar in the yard. They walked to the shed. The cook Olga stared at the beggar angrily, pushed him with her elbow and shut the door. So here Sergei took this man to his home and asked his cook to show the shed where they keep wood, and this lady just took him to the woodshed, and Sergei just went into his house and looking everything through the window. She was just taking him to the woodshed. This man felt very lack of energy, looked like a scarecrow, very lean, and because of the influence of alcohol, he couldn't walk properly, or very slowly, very lazily he was following the lady. When they reached the shed, she was very angry because this person drank too much, so she just pushed him away angrily and shut the woodshed door. Sergei saw the beggar who had lied that he had been a teacher sitting on a log of wood. He sat with his cheeks resting on his fist. Olga threw the axe towards him and scolded him. The beggar pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it between his feet, and hit it weakly with the axe. The wood shook and fell. He pulled it up again, tried to warm up his hands by blowing into them, and again tapped the wood with the axe. He was careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. The wood fell once again. Sergei was not angry at the beggar any longer. He felt sorry and ashamed of himself to put the poor man at work in such a cold weather, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. Sergei was glad that the beggar had done the work. He asked Olga to pay him half a ruble. He added that she could tell him to come on the first day of every month to cut wood. They could give him some work. Here she just led him to the woodshed and just gave him the axe. He tried to cut it, but one or two times the wood fell, and this man, Sergei, felt a little bit sad that he put this old drunkard who was not energetic to work hard by this time in this cold weather, but still he was glad that he has done the work. After some time, Lashkov came, and Sergei glad that Lashkov done some work, and he asked Olga to pay him half a ruble and ask him to come at the beginning of the month, so they can give some work, cutting or chopping woods or some other work they can provide, so this Lashkov can earn some money. The beggar turned up on the first of the month and got half a ruble, although he was heavily drunk and could not even stand on his feet. He went there for work often. He would do various jobs like shoveling the snow, set the wood in the shed, beat the rugs to remove the dust, and he earned 20 to 40 cop cups for it. Once Sergei gave him a pair of trousers to Sergei shifted to another house and hired the beggar to help in moving the articles like furniture. Now the man was not under the influence of alcohol. He was sad and remained quiet. He hardly took part in moving the furniture. He simply walked behind the vans with his head hanging low and did not even pretend to be busy. He shivered due to the cold weather and seemed embarrassed when other workers made fun of him for being idle, weak, and laughed at his torn overcoat when the work was completed. Sergei called the beggar. So it was continued every month. He used to come and do some work and earn some money, 20 to 40 cop cups. After some time, Sergei just changed his house to shift the furnitures to help. He called Lashkov. Lashkov came there, and this time he didn't drink. He was sad. He was very sad because of the cold weather. Also, he was just idly standing there and not doing much work. The other workers just make fun of him. Still, he was waiting there because he was just sad that the man helped him to earn some money, was just leaving him. He just felt very good when he just come to Sergei's house, but now he could not continue this. That's why Lashkov was very sad. Sergei said that he was happy to see the change in the beggar due to his scoldings. He gave him a ruble for his labor and asked him his name, as he had left drinking and was willing to work too. The beggar replied that his name was Lashkov. Sergei wanted to offer him better work and asked if he could write. Lashkov replied that yes, he could write too. Sergei handed him a letter to be delivered to a friend of his. Sergei's friend would give copying work to Lashkov. He instructed him to work hard. They parted. Sergei was happy that he had reformed a man. He tapped Lashkov on his shoulder and shook hands with him. Lashkov went away and the letter and never returned. After 2 years, one evening, Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theater. He was buying a ticket. He saw Lashkov standing next to him. He was well dressed, wore a coat. The collar was made of fur and wore a cap made of seal's skin. He was shy as he asked for a ticket of the gallery seat and paid for it in coins made of copper. So here the situation has changed. Lashkov was sad, but Sergei was happy that Lashkov reformed from the previous life, and now he was just asking whether Lashkov could write or do something like that. Lashkov said yes, he could that. Now Sergei gave him a letter to produce to one of his friends. He might have given him some copying work, and it went on, and for the last 2 years they didn't meet, but finally one day on a theater they met again. Initially they didn't recognize each other. Now Lashkov was well dressed. He was wearing very nice dress, and Sergei externally met him. Sergei recognized Lashkov and met him. He asked how he was, what he was doing, and how everything was going. Lashkov replied that he was fine and was working as a notary. He got paid 35 rubles a month. Sergei was glad and thanked God for reforming the beggar. He said that he considered Lashkov to be his godson because it was due to his scolding that he was a changed man. That day, the beggar had been at his feet asking for mercy. He was glad that Lashkov did not forget his words. Lashkov thanked him and said that if he had not met Sergei that day, he would still be lying and begging. He came out of the pit with the help of Sergei and was glad for his help. So they recognized each other, and Sergei was very happy that this man was earning a very good amount, nearly 35 rubles, and he was working as a notary, and he was earning a very good amount that Lashkov was also very happy that he met Sergei on that day that changed everything in his life. He thanked Sergei for his kindness. He was grateful to the cook. She was a noble woman. Although Sergei had been kind to him, it was Olga who saved him and reformed him. He asked Sergei how he felt about the truth. Lashkov continued that when he would visit the place to chop wood, Olga would scold him. She would feel sad for him and wept. She felt very sad for him and would chop all the wood for him. Her behavior changed him. Just then, the bell rang. Lashkov bowed to Sergei and left for the gallery of the theater. So here another revelation, another thing revealed here, that even though Sergei helped him and brought him to his home, provide some work, actually Olga, the woman, the cook in that particular house, changed Lashkov, because she just scolded him, keep on scolded, and made him work. And if he couldn't work, she just chopped all the wood and let him get the money. So because of her, he has changed. Lashkov was telling that the real person who changed him was Olga, the cook. Because of her only he has changed. Now the bell rang for the show. Lashkov just bowed in front of Sergei to express his respect and left for the gallery. So here we just understood how a man who was a beggar, who begged in the street, and how his life changed because of these people, Sergei and Olga. Hope you understood the story. And now read the text. Don't forget to have a dictionary while reading. Just write the meanings nearby that. See you in the next class. Bye.